Welcome back to Guys Improvise. You are listening to
Chill with Realms,
Jurassic Mark,
and Faerhad Targaryen. We have gone through another whole 10 episodes of the MGI Podcast, making a total of 20. It's amazing how we've come so far already. I didn't know, how this podcast was going to go back when it was just still an idea, but I'm glad that it's been consistent. Lately, it's become more consistent and that we have been pushing to keep growing it and adding different types of content to it. So just going down the list of this season, episode 11 was Cloud Atlas, episode 12 was Neanderthal, episode 13, Office Space, which featured Jurassic Mark for the first time.
My debut.
Episode 14, My Cousin Vinny, which we had Chill with Realms.
Yes, sir.
Then, episode 15, once we finally had a three-man podcast, turning this into Triangle. Then we had episode 16, the old legendary classic Forbidden Planet. Episode 17, Captain America Civil War. One of the most overrated movies of all time. Episode 18, the trip down nostalgia lane, Digimon the movie. Episode 19, black comedy from 2016, Hail Caesar. And episode 20, one of my favorite sci-fi movies ever, The Day After Tomorrow. So, I would say we covered a pretty diverse amount of content in terms of genres and whatnot, and even filming styles, different directors and everything too.
Yeah, I'd say so. We had the Coen brothers, Roland Emmerich, the majesty of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in its greatest installment by far.
Oh,
so yeah, we have quite a slew.
Indeed, yeah. I'm not entirely sure who directed Forbidden Planet, but I'm sure whoever that gentleman was or lady was probably a legendary director from back in the day as well. So, first thing I want to ask you gentlemen, out of the 10 episodes we covered in the past, couple of months, what was your favorite to talk about and to cover in the podcast?
I want to say my favorite one that I didn't get to cover was Guys Improvise. I saw that on there and I was like, damn, I got into it just a little too late.
Oh, wow. Are you talking about is that just a joke about the podcast in general?
No. I'm sorry. Did I say Guys Improvise?
Yeah.
I'm talking about
we had a meta moment.
Oh, Office Space.
There we go.
Got it.
My mind went whoop.
No worries.
Yeah, Realms, you should definitely check out Office Space. I think I gave that a 7 out of 10.
I think I did too, yeah. We both liked it.
Yeah, it's good. So I would definitely recommend that as well.
Big reason is because the job that I'm at, it's a great job, but man, would I love to quit it and finally just do what I want to do for a living.
Exactly, yeah. That's why it's such a relatable movie, And I think that was one of my biggest talking points when I was covering it with JM at the time. So, speaking of you, JM, what would you say your favorite was to talk about, to cover, and just to watch, I guess? I have a feeling I know what it is, but I still, I want to, know from you, what is it?
Well, personally, it's probably going to be Forbidden Planet for me, just because I love talking about retro sci-fi. But honestly, I've had fun talking about all of these.
Mm-hmm.
The Office Space episode was a lot of fun for exactly the reason Realms said it. It's fun to talk about dysfunctional work environments because that's where we live now. I'm kidding. But
big facts, though.
Exactly. So, I think I generally am into sci-fi movies and sci-fi video games too, because I am kind of a gamer. Mass Effect 2, still probably my favorite game of all time. But I think I did enjoy Office Space a little bit more than Forbidden Planet. Not to take anything away from Forbidden Planet, because to me, that's also still a legendary movie as well. But yeah, I believed you were going to say Forbidden Planet, so yeah, 1 for 1 is correct.
He's been using the Krell technology. He's psychic now.
Oh my god.
Oh, shoot.
So, gentlemen,
3 people who haven't seen the movie are going to get so.
well, who knows? Maybe.
Got some Leslie Nielsen stands listening to this. I don't know.
Exactly. You never know.
We had
Maybe.
a good handful of views on this song.
Yeah. It's definitely possible that, we've had some sort of influence in having someone out there want to go and watch Forbidden Planet. So, I'm wondering if either of you gentlemen can guess what my favorite was, but it was actually My Cousin Vinny. One of my favorite movies ever. JM, you weren't able to join us on that episode, unfortunately, but I would still highly recommend you check that out one day as well.
I mean, I do like Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci was great in that. Marissa Tomei was good in that. Ralph Macchio. And it's just really funny too. And I've also heard that it's actually one of the most accurate courtroom movies ever as well. So accurate that sometimes they'll show it in law school. Not only is it a good movie, but it's also very, lawfully accurate, if that makes sense.
Huh.
That's pretty
cool. I wonder if Legal ever did a video about that.
He did, actually, yeah, now that you mention it.
Okay, I've got to check that out.
Yep, I can link that in the description as well. So, new category. Out of these 10 episodes, what would you gentlemen say has the most rewatchability?
Out of our episodes?
Out of the 10, yeah, for this season.
I would watch the Captain America one again.
Captain America Civil War?
Yeah, that was the one where you ripped into it.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about our episodes or are we talking about the movies?
The movies, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the episodes.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I should have clarified. Yeah, or we could do both. Yeah, which episode, I guess which episode was your favorite for us to talk about, and which subject has the most rewatchability?
I mean, FD, I think your rant about Civil War probably makes it the most entertaining video we've done so far.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a work of art, my friend.
Well, thank
as
you.
As far as movie I'd watch again, probably... I'll probably go with My Cousin Vinny.
Awesome. Great choice. JM?
Well, the one that's probably going to be the most quotable for me would be My Cousin Vinny. I'm sorry, My Cousin Vinny. Office Space. Would probably be the one that I'd say is the most quotable. But I almost want to watch Triangle again because now that I know how it ends, I sort of want to go back and look for all the clues.
Right, yeah.
It's got to be one of those movies that improves on repeat viewing.
Yes. So, I do think you ironically misspoke when you said My Cousin Vinny, but when you do finally get to watch it, I can guarantee you that movie is going to become very quotable for you as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
As for MGI Podcast episodes rewatchability, I will agree with the two of you that the Captain America Civil War episode is probably the most entertaining one, probably the best episode of this season. Closely second, I would be the premiere episode, which was Cloud Atlas. I remember when I was recording that episode with Al Rogers that I had some pretty strong feelings about that movie as well. I don't know if I would recommend watching the movie, though, because I really didn't like that movie all that much. Neither did he. But if you guys are ever interested in seeing Cloud Atlas, don't know if you guys have already, that was on Netflix when we were actually watching it. And as far as rewatchability goes, I would maybe give that to The Day After Tomorrow. In fact, I was just watching it on TV the other day. It seems to be on TV, fairly frequently.
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, my mother-in-law turned it on last night. I think we flipped on the scene where I think the cop was telling everybody to get out of the library.
Yeah. Forget which channel it was on, but yeah, it might have been the same channel that I was watching it on that your mother-in-law was watching it on, yeah.
It's probably the same channel that rebroadcasts Independence Day like 1,000 times every summer.
I really have a thing for Roland Emmerich then, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so looking into the future, I'm honestly pretty excited to see, because Chill with Realms has his own channel as well. I've been linking it in the description, and I'm excited to see how this podcast will continue to incorporate more like anime content and like, anime features. So next episode, which will kickstart season 3, will be ReZero. Been watching it. It's pretty cool. I think I'm up to the final episode of the movie-length introduction that Realms put together, so that'll be exciting. And for season 3 in general, I want to do things, better, like do some improvements. So I'm gonna hope that I can do some better with the audio recording so that we can have internal audio. There has to be a way to do it. Hopefully I'll have it ready by this Sunday, and maybe even do things differently in terms of like going even further with this podcast, because it's MGI. Like, I was driving down the road the other day, Realms, like going past the high school. You remember the McDonald's that's there?
Yeah.
I was thinking about like maybe having a whole season about music, have the MGI stand for Music Guys Improvise, and just talk about like album after album after album for a season. But that's just conversations to have in the future. But
we definitely got room for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For right now, what I have in mind for this season, at least for the next episode I have in mind, similarly in concept to the ReZero episode, will be a series, like a mini-series on Netflix. It's not going to be super duper long. I'm not going to reveal to you guys what it is right now, but it'll be like similar in concept because it'll be like a few episodes, but it'll be short enough that you can binge it in a whole sitting, or, at very, like, I guess, most 2 days. But we'll get to that when it is my turn to choose the episode. But yeah, just want to take this time to thank you guys again for being a part of it. I really do appreciate you guys being here for the podcast every week, for making this something bigger and better. And if you gentlemen have anything to say as closing statements for this season 2 recap.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for, thinking of me and inviting me to join the podcast, because I was honestly shocked about it. And then I wasn't sure what to think, because I've never done a podcast before. I wasn't positive I was going to be able to do it. I thought maybe I'd try it and then I'd be like, man, this might be way over my head, but I've been having a lot of fun with it.
It's good to hear, Rams, and it's good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me into the fold, too. I've always been curious about podcasts, so this has been a fun experiment. And it's kind of fun to recommend movies to people again and then talk about them, the quarantine's been kind of rough, I think, for a lot of us, but this has been a nice thing that I look forward to every weekend, so thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Really appreciate that as well, JM, and I'm really happy to have you here as well, because I always thought you would be a great dude to have around in terms of like improv and just acting in general, because even though we haven't really done any skits on this channel or anything like that, just the way your mannerisms were in that acting class we took together, I knew that you would be a great person to have around for something like this. So appreciate you being around as well. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, you got a really strong radio voice. Like, that's the first thing I noticed when you first started talking. I'm like, his voice is perfect for this.
Aw, thanks, guys. The camera can't see me blush.
Man.
But you guys are great. Realms, you got a great voice yourself, and as do you, FT. I think we're building a good rapport.
Cool. So yeah, all magic all around, all chill energy only, as Realms himself says. And
yeah, buddy.
With that being said, thank you all again, whoever does tune into this channel to check out the podcast. And for my other content as well, I'm going to have a little bit of astrophotography content coming, just like a slideshow. I mentioned this in my unboxing video, as well as video game content coming in the future. But other than that, just focusing on the MGI podcast. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for everybody who does like to listen to us talk about these movies. With that being said, join us again next week for the kickoff of Season 3, which will be ReZero. For now, you have been listening to
Chill with Realms.
Jurassic Mark.
And Faerhad Targaryen. Stay cool, everyone, and we will catch you guys next week.
Chill energy only.
Carry on, my wayward sons.